Hello everybody, this is the 13th lecture of the IELTS. Okay, today we are going to talk about the mistakes which might happen in the writing, especially writing an essay. Okay, as we know that some of the English language, especially in the IELTS, are low band score and high band score. We will talk about those expressions and the mistakes, and we will estimate this writing. Now, let's start. Some argue that people's lives is. It's wrong to say is, we should say are. Why? Because it's people's lives, plural. Happiest during teen period. It's better not to write during teen period. It's better to write when we are teenagers. It's not a mistake, but we are saying it's better. We have the language expressions in the IELTS that we should use. Okay. While others believe that the adulthood, it's wrong to say the adulthood. We need to omit the. We need to say adulthood. Why? Because it's first mentioning and we are talking in general. So we put no article here. It brings more happiness, although there are greater responsibilities. It's not more responsibility. It's responsibilities because we are talking in general. When we say something in general, if it is a countable noun, we need to pluralize it. In my opinion, I believe that young people's lives are happier than adults. We cannot say young people's alone. It should be young people's lives are not happiest. We should make a comparison here, and we have already put than the comparing sign. Okay, happier than adults. Let's move on. Everybody, first of all, from an economic point. It's not economical point. It's economic point of view. Teenagers are not aware about the conditions that exists. Wrong to say conditions that exists. Conditions is plural and that exists. And it's better not to say that, it's better to say which. It's more formal. We don't say in the daily life, in daily life. In English, we don't add the to daily life. For instance, most teens do not know the facts that affect the economy, not the country. Because we are talking about economy. We are not talking about country as a place. Such as all prices, we don't need to write in the world, such as all prices, because we are talking about economy and in general, and it's obvious once we put it in the world, it will be an extra expression and you'll be deducted for that. Secondly, although it's very common that young people, we don't say peoples, people, do some jobs in present times, most teenagers do not have financial responsibilities like rent, we don't write rent, or housing costs owing to their parents paying for these costs. We don't write afford these costs. We are talking about the payment of the rents. Okay. The other paragraph of the body, another good reason to state that teenage years We don't say teenager years. Whether we say, it's better to say teenage years are the best times in our life. It's not people's lives. It's not our lives. We say our life. Is that during school, we don't say school period. We don't put period here. It will be extra and you'll be deducted for that. Young students, and after school, sorry, we need to put a comma. Young students are focused mainly on, because we don't focus in, we focus on the academics. We don't need to write the academic environment is wrong. We write the academics. Why? Because it's in general. Consequently, teens live their life in a happy scenario in which the connected activities like sporting endeavors. We don't write sports or sportive championships. We don't have such an expression. We say sporting endeavors. Music festivals and even scientific competitions. Music, after music we should put a comma. Festivals and even scientific competitions represent the daily duties. We don't need to write that young people should deal with. It's an extra expression. Okay, we have another paragraph for the body. There is a mistake here, finally from. We don't need the word finally here. We just write a from. A social perspective. Teenagers do not fear. Fear, we don't follow it by a preposition. We say, I don't fear bears, for example. I don't fear snakes, for example. We don't say, I don't fear about. It's wrong. Social concepts or discrimination, as a result, they live freely. We don't need to say as they consider freely. I live freely. Okay? In whatever way they want. For example, most teens are involved in sport activities and voluntary, we don't say voluntaries, voluntary organizations as well. Those relationships are. We don't need to write here undoubtedly. It's a wrong expression. Are undoubtedly very common. We can't say undoubtedly are, we say are undoubtedly very common. Why? Because it's the word order. It's the word. For example, let's say for any sentence, let's say for example, he's a great player, just like that. He's a very great player also. We cannot say he great is a very player. It's a wrong word. It's a wrong expression, sorry. Okay. Common among young people rather than adults. In conclusion, teenage years, we can't say teenagers, yes, it's teenage years, are the happiest for most people due to the activities they normally do. They aren't worried, they are not worried, should be, about current affairs like all markets or political situations. We have wrong expression here. Teenagers commonly are not influenced by social gossip. We can't put this one here. Why? Since it's the conclusion, and if you remember in the previous lecture number 12, we said we can't add any single information to the conclusion. So this is new information, new piece of information, and it will be deducted. You will lose a lot of points for this simple piece of information because it's not mentioned in the introduction nor in the body. Okay. In addition, school times are very important. We don't need to write in the teenagers. It's wrong here because the positive influence that it has in young's lives. Okay, for my evaluation for this one will be 50 to 60%. That means if I want to estimate it out of 10, I would give it 5 to 6. Let's say an average 5.5, not more than that, or could be even 5 as max. Okay, so and after correcting these mistakes, I would give it 6.5. Why? Because it needs better expressions and it needs also the high band words. The high band words. Which words do I mean? The words that are not that commonly used. For example, instead of saying, I'm giving an extra example which is not related to this one. For example, instead of saying the weather is hot, we say it's sweltering, it's boiling. Those words are high band scores. They, instead of giving me, for example, 7, they would give me 7.5 or even 8. Simple expression can change everything. Okay, thank you very much. I wish that you got the benefit from this lecture. It was Haidar ALcasseer talking to you. If you just like this lecture, please just press the button of subscribe. If you have any questions, write them in the comments. If you have any criticism, please just write in the comments. Thanks for watching.